It's like the storm that never ends.
Yeah. So Diddy watch. We just gonna come right into that. We got other topics, of course, y'all, but we just kind of it's like the in the Back to the Future 2, where Doc showed up saying like, hey, we gotta go back, go to the future, and you didn't know if they was gonna do a sequel or not for real, but here we are. All right, Stacy,
I'm going to start off. Diddy Watch 2024. I'm going to start with nice things. So Diddy Watch update. How are the kids doing? How are the girls? We know what's happening with the boys. So the girls, his oldest daughter, Chance, she went to prom. And she went to prom with Chloe and Haley Bailey's brother. So she's 17, I think he's 16 or 18. Like either way, there was a 1 year difference between the two of them. So either he was like, but I think he might have been a year old, but I don't remember now. But so they went to prom together, and she recently graduated. I think it was like over the weekend from high school. She shared pictures with her and her brothers. Quincy made a guest appearance. Her mom was there. Like I said, Quincy, Justin, Christian, those are the pictures I saw. I didn't see pictures of any of the girls. But we do know that Diddy's other twins are also 17, and they also went to prom, which is a whole thing. But we'll talk about the Irish triplets later. So anyway, so his daughter Chance attended NYU in the fall. So the girls, Delilah and Jesse, they went to their prom. They had on matching dresses. All they did was part their hair on different sides. Kimora Lee Simmons, who apparently was Kim Porter's best friend prior to her passing. I didn't know that.
That was news to me.
Real quick, just off topic. Just know that I've said it before, and I'll say it again. My best friend Brandon and I, one of our favorite things is when people swear that they're so close to someone, or they're like they're like all these stories, whatever, and you're just like, that never happened. Like that's it. Like how, like I said, example, like LaToya Jackson calls Janet Jackson Jan. And it feels so unnatural that it's like no one calls her Jan but LaToya, or LaToya doesn't really call her Jan. And she just says that to make it seem like they're separation. Like they're really close. But I say stuff like that all the time. I'll be like, I'm like, we're so close. Or I'll be like, oh, and my good friend so-and-so, and it's somebody that I've never met before. But apparently they were best friends prior to Kim Porter passing away. So when the girls posted their pictures, she commented and said, "My babies, so proud of this moment, and I'm so very proud of you always. You're too sweet and gorgeous. I love you." But then on her Instagram pictures, stories, she actually had more pictures of the girls. So I think she was the one who helped send them off to prom. She's like, "Prom 2024. I'm so very proud of you, my babies. I love you always, and congrats." And then that she said, "Oh." She says, there's one where she says, "I will protect you." Oh, did I not copy and paste it? So either way, it's one where she's like, "I will protect you for forever, like for the rest of my life, everything. Congrats, you made it, etc." So that's that. So that's what's going on with the girls. Now for the mess. According to an article that was published on June 1st by the Daily Beast, 5 ex-employees of Sean Diddy Combs' companies reveal that the rapper's allegedly abusive tendencies extended to the workplace, including face grabbing and violent threats. A former employee of Combs Lifestyle, or former employees of Combs Lifestyle brand Sean John and Blue Flame has now shuttered advertising agency. I didn't know that Blue Flame. I thought Blue Flame was a strip club in Atlanta.
Yeah, I thought that was a strip club.
So anyway, they were called erratic behavior while in Combs' employ, including instances where he grabbed, berated, and threatened them. These former staffers spoke to the Daily Beast under condition of anonymity out of fear of retribution. And I'm gonna say that under fear. So they wanted to be anonymous under fear of retribution. That is going to be a constant theme when it comes to Diddy. A lot of people have been afraid to say anything. They have been in fear of retribution. So a lot of things are anonymous. So In particular, one former Sean John ex-employee shared a harrowing account about a time that Combs grabbed her face following a disagreement about a creative decision. He didn't like that I wasn't agreeing with him, and he wasn't interested in hearing my point of view, the former employee recalled. Instead, Combs allegedly began to yell and compared himself to a renowned fashion designer. When you speak to me, you should imagine that you're talking to Karl Lagerfeld, she recalled. Anything I say, assume that it's coming from Karl Lagerfeld. Assume it's coming from Carl Kanai, not Karl Lagerfeld. So anyway, at that point, she says, I didn't have a response to that. He reaches out and he grabs my face. He puts one hand on both sides of my cheeks and says, stick your tongue out. And then he squeezes my face harder and yells at me to stick out my tongue, forces his hands on my face. She recounted how Combs then told her he just wanted to see if her tongue was bleeding because she was clearly biting it. And she said, I started looking for a job immediately after that moment. Another former employee said that he was fired after making eye contact with Combs, visibly expressing disappointment when the mogul showed up hours late for a meeting. From the employee's perspective, Combs took the look that I gave him personally. And I took that personally. So there's some more lawsuits that are out there. And of course, Rolling Stone put out an article, Bad Boy for Life, Sean Combs' History of Violence. Now, if we know nothing, understand that Rolling Stone is going to do the work to ensure that whatever they're publishing, it is going to be factual. They're going to get their sources. This is not going to be no mess. So I found out about when I knew about the article, and I started kind of scrolling through. So Rolling Stone is a paywall, but you can get around that if you work hard. Just go to an incognito window. So that's what I did, and I actually went through Firefox so I could pull it up and be able to print it because I like to print things, and it's really, really long, and I'm glad that I did. So this is the article. This is the Rolling Stones article that I printed out on my printer. I got some things highlighted. There's no way for me to completely go through this at all in one show. But essentially it's just detailing his career from start until now. And also the history of quote unquote erratic behavior that was seen by women that he dated, people that were around him, other employees. And then there's a lot of corroboration. So let's say that there was one person who said, yeah, I saw him throw something on the floor. And then there are 3 other people who said, I remember when she told me that. She told me that night that he threw something on the floor. And there's someone else who's coming in and saying, you know what? I walked in there and I saw something on the floor. And when I asked how I got there, they said that Buffy did. So it's like, everyone may not be telling the exact same story, but they all can corroborate that this is essentially what happened. They give details about his start when he was at Howard. Apparently there were some incidents there in which his temper flared on campus, not only in just kind of normal situations, but apparently with the young lady that he was dating on campus. Like trigger warning with this, but apparently there was a day that they said that he would go to her classes and knock on the window, on the door, and it finally became really uncomfortable. It wasn't a romantic thing. It was like, oh crap, here he is. And then there was a day he was outside of her dorm screaming for her to come out. And they said at some point girls were running up and down the hallways, knocking on doors. They're like, that Puffy guy is out there and he's beating her. And he was actually hitting the girl with a belt. And several people, again, they're different people who have talked about it. And when you say, well, why didn't anybody say anything? Fear of retribution. So, and at that time, they were very young. Puffy didn't have any money or anything like that. He just was popular. He was kind of getting a name. But at the same time, you are a college student. You possibly there on scholarship or however it is that you got there. And sometimes you don't want to cause trouble because.
Time out. Hey, wasn't this an episode of Different World?
It was.
Yes.
No, I'm just.
It was.
It was.
It was. Old girl, AJ Johnson. Gina.
Yeah.
Dating a dude that was the rapper, and
he was like the new rapper. He just got a deal or something.
Yep, and Billy D. Williams is the one.
No. That's he was on there twice. Remember?
Oh, that's when he came back.
Billy D. Williams was the second time when he showed after he got out of jail.
Yeah. Yeah.
The first one, it was with Colonel Taylor's son was rolling with him, and Ron Johnson was doing the concert and selling tickets. Yeah. And then Ron was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go beat dude up." Hey, Ron wanted to smoke all the time.
Yeah, I remember.
Look, he was a womanizer, but he ain't want you putting your hands on no women.
He ain't play that, right? Like he's like, okay, look, he wanted to date you. Like Ron just trying to get your number. Yeah, that's it. But all that other stuff, Ron wasn't on that. So I will say there's a level of appreciation for Ron on a different world. And one day we need to have a conversation about that. About how I feel like Ron just doesn't, there's a level of respect that he doesn't get. But like I said, just reading through this, like I said, there are some things we definitely already knew, some incidents, and then other ones that I had no idea about. I didn't know that. Okay, so there's something that he talks about. It says Combs was born with a short fuse, telling Jet magazine that he earned his nickname as a kid because he would always huff and puff when he got mad. I had a temper. That's why my friends started calling me Puffy. And then I had no idea that that's how he got the name. I absolutely thought that it came later on in life. And that's it. There is, Sister Soldier is name dropped in this. Apparently, one of the women who has accused Diddy of sexually assaulting her said that Sister Soldier actually told her to keep her distance because he had a reputation, and she didn't. And Sister Soldier did not reply to a request for comment. They said that they contacted over 100 people. Or something like, or I think how many people did they say they contacted? And there were only so many who actually were willing to talk. And a lot of them, out of the 300 plus people contacted for this investigation, more than 50 were willing to speak about their experiences. Several would only do so off record, citing a fear of retribution. Some requested compensation in exchange for their stories. Rolling Stone does not pay for interviews. And many declined to participate, wanting to distance themselves from Combs, saying that I'm trying to leave that part of my life behind me. But like I said, this, if you have not read it, it's a lot to read, but it's pretty deep. And again, when it just goes from, even they said that anytime a woman would leave him, he would do anything he could to get her back. So they, like with him and Jennifer Lopez, when they broke up, that he would send people out to find, like they would have people hanging outside of TRL, outside of MTV studios, trying to get to Jennifer to tell her to come back.
I'm just thinking of at the very end of him and the Keisha Cole song. At the very end, he trying to call her, and he was like, "Yo,
you
ain't answer that phone that second time.
I'm almost
came to that motherfucker and shot that motherfucker up." Yeah. Then he tried to laugh it off.
Like, that's how that shit really be, though. But yeah,
it's on. He said at the very end of the song, and he laughed it off. He's like, "That's how it really go."
And we let it slide.
Yep, and we laughed it off too. And where's the other thing that
it was one of the other ones was the one that was real messed up is when they were doing. Rolling Stone actually confirmed this within that article where they were going to put Biggie on the cover of Rolling Stone, and they said basically he was like fuck, and I'm sure they went to the person that was shooting the cover and talking to him about this. So that's probably some of the most verifiable stuff because they went to a former employee or a current employee at Rolling Stone. And he said, "Fuck that dude. He dead. It's my time." Basically.
Yep.
Speaking of Biggie, you heard what his mama said.
Yeah, and I know that's what she got mad about is seeing that part.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, where?
Because there's no way that Biggie passed away and he wasn't on the cover of Rolling Stone, but Puffy was.
Now I'm starting to think that Biggie run go to L.A.
He didn't know. Remember?
Like say Puffy made him. Puffy.
Yeah. Yeah, Puffy made him go.
Yeah, there it is. All right, there it is. So, Combs capitalized on the shock and sorrow over Wallace's death. Brookshire, who had been traveling in the same SUV as Wallace. So Brookshire, it's a woman who was an exec that was there. And she'd been traveling in the same SUV as Wallace during press events the day before he died. So she said Combs denied her request for time off to process her grief. Instead, just 2 weeks after the slaying, she says Combs ordered her to focus all efforts on Wallace's upcoming album, Life After Death. Combs demanded it be number one, top 10, top 10, top 10, she recalls. And of course, it sold nearly 700,000 copies in its first week. When Rolling Stone approached Bad Boy about a cover opportunity a few months after Biggie's murder, Burroughs claims he advocated for the late rapper to take the spot. Like I was telling Sean, let's make it Biggie. You still have a chance for the cover in the future. And he's like, no, he's dead. I'm putting out No Way Out in July. I need to be on the cover of Rolling Stone. And he got the cover. Mm-hmm. And then it said 2 years later, he acknowledged how Biggie's death had been big business. He says, I think his passing added to the fame. He told Rolling Stone in 99, at least 2 million of the nearly 5 million copies sold of No Way Out were sold due to his death, straight up. And that doesn't necessarily feel good, but that's the reality.
But he got like 3 Biggie verses on the album.
That part. Like, I don't think that people bought No Way Out. Well, like, what else is on No Way Out? Is All About the Benjamins on
All About the Benjamins, the tribute song, the song with Twista.
That Black Rob song on there hard too.
Yeah. But like me and Stacey been saying, it wasn't better than Life in 1472.
Hold on, let me go back to it. Victory was on there.
Yeah, Victory. That's what I was
saying. Say it again.
Victory.
Say
it wasn't better than Life in 1472.
Don't nobody talk about that album.
Hey, that Been Around the World was the joint, especially that remix with Carl Thomas.
I'm not saying the No Way Out.
No, it was a great album, but
I'm not
people they put it on this pedestal, but that Life in 1472 is just, you can just slide all the way. That's a whole road trip album.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I'm looking through these.
That's all I'm saying. But yeah, it's a lot. And like I said, it's a lot to read. Again, it's a history. So it's not like this is only about what's happening right now. It's honestly building the case. And please know that I'm sure that all of this information is going to be presented in evidence when and if Puffy ever makes it to court. Plus, if anything, they're going to use stuff from this. From this. Now, of course, like as far as trying to get the source of who said what, that's a whole other thing when it comes to the press and them being able to having to release their sources. But yeah, this is it's a lot. It's really, really, really a lot. And I don't know. I don't even know anymore. I got nothing. Like we know what you did, and like I said, even just
we saw what you did.
We know we saw what you did, and it's like, and there's the where is it at? Because it's the amazing thing of how, so the day that Ventura filed her complaint, he blasted it as a shakedown based on outrageous lies. For the last 6 months, Combs has been subjected to Ms. Ventura's persistent demand for $30 million under the threat of writing a damaging book about the relationship, which was unequivocally rejected as blatant blackmail, says his lawyer, right? But then they said that her lawyer said that Puffy offered her 8 figures to silence her and prevent her from filing the lawsuit. She still filed the lawsuit. So again, the whole it's about the money thing. I mean, we don't know what she got, but y'all understand what 8 figures is. And so you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all understand how much 8 figures is. I don't know if she settled for 8 figures. You know what I'm saying? But if the offer was 8 to not sue, if it was about the money, Wouldn't she have taken that? Because if it was about the money, it's not about the money. It's about what happened. And the other point, so it's because at some point she checked herself into a rehabilitation center to deal with the physical and psychological repercussions of her time with Combs and found renewed purpose in being a mom. And then eventually she ended up doing the lawsuit. But while she was pregnant, like after she had left him and all of that, he was still trying to get her back. So he had posted online, telling her to listen to Lady in My Life by Michael Jackson and all this stuff. So anytime a woman left, he would do whatever he could to try to get her back. So like I said, with TRL, he'd send people out there. Cassie says that whenever she would leave, the people would find her and bring her back to him. So, and she's powerless. And then I brought up this to Daryl the other day about, in the 5 years after her breakup with Combs, Ventura remained silent. While he was posting about her pregnancy in 2019, she was negotiating in distress behind the scenes to escape her bad boy contract. So despite Ventura signing a 10-album deal in 2006, Bad Boy only released one studio album by her. Now, my nails are broken. 10, all right? I'm sure like this is how serious this is. A 10-album deal from Bad Boy in 2006.
Who was on Bad Boy then that was relevant? French Montana, is that it?
Was he out then? I don't think he was out yet, though. Was he?
Let me see.
Danity Kane?
Because there ain't no way.
Danity Kane?
Again, she's young. Let me say this. One, we do know that she was young at that time. We know that she was very young. However,
like what, 19, 18?
And as Daryl mentioned, that she was not, probably wasn't listening to her boyfriend, Ryan Leslie. It's possible. All of these things are quite possible. But
he didn't start on Bad Boy until 2013.
Shit in 2006.
He did 2013 is when he joined Bad Boy.
Yeah, I'll say he wasn't.
Yeah, he wasn't on Bad Boy till 2013. Dang.
Yeah, 06, they was making the band like Danity Kane in Day 26.
So 2005.
Cherie Dennis. Cherie Dennis was on there then. Cherie Dennis was on there then.
So Bad Boy would also see Fortunes in 2005 with success release. So
Young Jock.
Young Jock. Yep, Young Jock. And then also in 2006, Bad Boy hit Pay Dirt with making the band's Danity Kane. And then whose debut album topped the charts at #1, the label's first chart-topping album since the Bad Boys 2 soundtrack 3 years prior. And spun off a top hit single. And then they also got Day 26. So
Boys in the Hood too, right? One Boys in the Hood around then too?
That was like 04. That was more like 04, 05.
Yeah, that was that Bad Boy South. So that's before that.
Because Block, the dude that had Autumn signed, he had them and Young Jock signed.
So what I will say is this: there is no artist, including Puffy, who has dropped 10 albums on the Bad Boy.
Didn't he have New Edition at one point?
That was like 04. That was like 04.
Okay.
He had everybody at some point. He had A-Ball and MJG at one point. They had New Edition. He had
Didn't he have Twister for a second? But it never came out?
I know Mace came back.
Mace came back.
Right now, the current
artist, it's Josie's one of them, I know.
No. So the current artist versus the former artist is an amazing. So right now, current artist, Puffy, Janelle Monáe, King Combs, and Quincy.
So
that's it?
His kids and Janelle Monáe. And I forgot she was on Bad Boy.
And then releases under Bad Boy. So Diddy at 5, Janelle 3, King Combs has 2, Quincy, I guess, has released nothing. But the person who released the most albums under Bad Boy was Machine Gun Kelly. 6.
Really?
I forgot he was on Bad Boy. I think after like 2005, I kind of stopped paying attention to Bad Boy.
Everyone did. That's what I'm saying. Like that's like the idea of you trying to now in '96. If you want to sign me to a 10-year deal, a 10 album deal with Bad Boy, fuck yes.
Yeah, between '96 and maybe 2001.
Yeah,
I give Mo 3. I give Mo 3. I give Mo 3.
Yeah, 96, absolutely. Because at that point, I've seen everything that Bad Boy has done, right? And it's like, oh, I like total her, like everybody here, like, and then even if they weren't on Bad Boy, you were affiliated in some way, right? So I know I get to be around this, I get to be around that.
Like Lil' Kim.
Absolutely. But yeah, French Montana has released 4 underneath there. So 112 released 4, Mace released 3, Faith Evans released 3, but
it's funny, Mace released 3, but we only acknowledged the 1.
Well, yeah. Heavy Starch? That was right.
The Harlem World.
Oh yeah. Oh, and Harlem World was another label.
Like Heavy Starch, ain't that Ali? That's Ali.
Ali. I just associate bad albums with Ali at this point. In general. My bad, y'all. I'm sorry, Mace. That wasn't for you. That was just accidental. But the Mace album is called what is that album?
Harlem World.
Is that the second album's name?
Oh no, the second album was Double Up.
Double Up. There we go. Yes. Yeah. Yes. And then he had that Welcome Back album.
Yeah, the one, the Welcome Back was, when he came back.
He's got Breathe, Stretch, Shake, Let It Go.
Let It Go.
That was my song. Like it was, I mean, it's not some amazing song. It was what it was. And
just cool little jig.
It's a cool little jig. Like I said, it was not some lyrically amazing song. And nobody come. That song it was what it was. It did what it did. I liked it. Fight me. I guess we are. So Diddy Watch is just
for the record. I blame us for Diddy. I don't even blame him no more. I blame us. We let this man parade around non-producing music, just taking credit for all these people's stuff, and we knew who produced it. We be like, no, that was the Hitman. And we let people get off saying Puffy was a good producer for years.
Because I was the one thing I hate about like this happening. I wanted to see JD kill him in a verses.
He couldn't. Okay, are you gonna bring the Hitman with him? Because that's all the he bringing Stevie J, D. Dot, Angeletti, Young Lord. He bringing that whole crew with him because that's those.
Yeah, no, I mean Teddy Riley brought everybody, so you just put everybody in the back. Just put the band in the back.
Hey, this cool ass Scott from the I Love 90s Music Podcast. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like it on the SOLC Network. You finna get all the real deal on the 90s, the 2000s, and the splash of that 80s. Do it right now, man, and I'll be your friend.